specifically in America, when we are old enough to work, we normally look to get a job, primarily to make money. And that's on the surface. If we want to look at it intrinsically, we look to experience independence. Independence in relation to being self-sufficient. I don't have to ask my parents for any money. I don't have to ask my parents to buy me things. Now that I'm working, I can get the things I want. The title of this video, I hate to say the video because my responsibility is to always teach, train, and empower. And as a training development specialist, as a training facilitator, I'm so accustomed to doing trainings because training, if you're taking notes, make a note on this. Training is not merely giving information. Training has a segment in it of information, but then after the information is disseminated or dispersed, the information is put in real time and equates to application, integration, transformation, and lifestyle. As your trainer today, our title, Are You Looking for Work? I went back to the beginning because if we look at our history, we can identify various behavior patterns that resulted from a belief that equated into a lifestyle. Then it turned into a habitual pattern, autopilot, automatically. Those belief systems, behavior patterns, lifestyles can transform into prisons. We get stuck in those places and life changes. We have external changes. We have changes in politics. We have changes in education. We have changes in entertainment. We have changes in sports. We have changes and we experience change in a external form throughout the duration of our lives. It's 2025. If you want your life to change, no matter if you're speaking spiritually, mentally, physically, socially, financially, and emotionally, how we think has to change. How I think has to be submitted to a greater authority. And with that exchange, I get a new way of thinking in return. This is going to be a new way of thinking. My goal with this video is to add to what you already have in your life and assist you to experience a different level, more in depth, or another degree of freedom. Are you looking for work? If you're looking for work and you catch this video around a question, I want you to type the word work in the comment section, no matter where you see this video at. If you see this video on YouTube, you see it in LinkedIn, if you see it on Facebook, no matter where you see this video at, I want you to type the word work. If you want to learn more on the how-to, and you will see what the how-tos are. If you want to learn how to, if you want to get out of working where there's one stream of income, if you want to learn how to create work, type create in the comment section. So we got 2 prompts. The first prompt is work. I'm jotting these down. You're looking for work. If you want to learn how to create work, I want you to type create in the comment section, no matter where you see the video at. If you're looking for work, type work in the comment section or wherever you see this video. If you're looking for work, the first thing that I would tell you, no matter if you are looking to make a lateral move or elevate in your profession, you have to look within first. Let's go into this. I got my notes in front of me because I want to make the most of the time. I don't want to be everywhere, though I may deviate and go different places. It's important. Man, it's going to be important to us to really hear this because long videos, and this is a best practice, long videos to us in today's society, 2025 and beyond, if it's not entertaining, it's drudgery. Drudgery means I don't even look forward to listening to all of this. It's not created and crafted in an entertaining way. We disconnect. We got to get away from that. Now, with our videos, we're contemplating changing some things, making some drastic changes to different components, how everything comes together, because we're looking for a different result. And if you're looking for a different result, change has to be a part of your vocabulary. Our goal is to produce a effective product, but also appealing. We'll see how that goes in this 2025 year. Remain in focus. Are you searching for work? Are you looking for work? If so, you need to look no further. You need not look any further. Work is already inside of you. If you listening, you making a note. If you driving in your car and you watching this video, and you got a passenger, tell them to type it in their phone and text it to you. Type it, text it. What do I mean by work is already inside of you? Work is within. Many of us look for work externally. When we experience and realize a deficit, when we realize and experience, I want to make more money, one of the first things that we do after we come to that realization is that we look for an opportunity instead of creating an opportunity. It doesn't matter where you are in your career journey, generally speaking, and I'm speaking in Western culture, specifically the United States of America, most people, if they looking to generate additional income, whether they have a job or a business, we're going to look for opportunities outside of us. We're going to look for partnerships. We're going to look for additional clients. We're going to look maybe to add another job. We're going to look to do some contract work. We have the tendency to look outside of us before we look inside of us. For example, I want a better paying job. What would I normally do in that situation? In this example, I would look for a better paying job. But when I look for that better paying job externally, I have to immediately come back internally and think about, what experience do I have? What education do I have? What is some of my work experience? I have to measure what I bring to the table, my experience, in comparison to that job or career opportunity. What I'm saying to you is, no, look within first, because when we look for work, we looking outside of us when we should be looking inside first. But I want to, again, and if you ever watch any of our videos and heard me talk about entrepreneurship, business development, career development, this is my space. This is my space. This is my specialty. This is me. I want you to take a second look within yourself and discover what you can create. This is also work. Work redefined. Work redefined. When we were in school, specifically in junior high, middle school, we learned the difference between a noun and the difference between a verb. I repeat, when we were in middle school and high school, we learned what a noun was and we learned what a verb was. Knowing the difference, now catch this thought, knowing the difference experientially between a noun and a verb determines your freedom. Knowing the difference between a noun and a verb influences your level of liberation financially. Knowing it via your experience, not knowing it, being able to recite it, but knowing the difference via your experience influences your level of freedom or liberation, financially speaking. A noun is a person, place, or thing. A noun is a person, a place, or thing. I want you to really put your focus and emphasis on the third thing. A verb is action. A verb is something that we do. A verb is something that we do. In most cases, you hear people say this in terms of work. I'm getting ready to go to work. When the people say they're going to work, what they're saying is, I'm going, in most cases, in America, United States of America, I'm going to a physical place to provide a service. When we say, I'm getting ready to go to work, boo. Hubby, I'm getting ready to go to work. Wifey, I'm getting ready to go to work. Kids, mama getting ready to go to work. Daddy gonna go to work. I'll be back in a few hours. I love you. In most cases, when we make that statement, we're talking about going to a physical location, a brick and mortar facility to provide service. We're talking about a noun. I'm going to a place. When I get to that place, I'm gonna perform service, verb, do. What if I was to tell you this? And I wonder what your thoughts would be. Our services should always evolve into a product, whether that product is tangible, has physical presence, or intangible, does not have physical presence. Our services should always evolve into a product because our service in a verb sense is what we do. And that's considered as work. So work, an expression of service, is something that we do. But work, an expression of a noun, is something that we produce. For example, you watching this video. Are you looking for work? You looking at it primarily in a digital form. You're looking at this video, you listen to it, hopefully, you're taking notes, you're observing all the actions, the words, the hand gestures, the movements. You're looking at this on a platform. That's a key note. You're looking at this on a platform. This was produced. It's work. I did it one time. We recorded one time. Download it to the platform, whether it be YouTube, whether it be LinkedIn, whether it be Facebook. It was downloaded to the platform. It was a production. You notice in Hollywood, specifically in reference to movies, the term that's associated with these films are productions. A stage play in that industry. A stage play, the term that's associated with a stage play is also a production. So this video itself is a production. This video itself is a form of work. It came from a service. It originated from me teaching, me living and understanding this concept, me providing, I'm serving you now. But the end result is a product where I don't have to be physically present. And this product itself either is going to generate, it's going to either generate a couple of things it can generate. It can generate more opportunity for me to physically serve. It can generate revenue if it's put on the right platform. And that's where my emphasis is really at. For clarity purposes and to be redundant and repetitive with this concept itself, we have to know the difference in an experiential way between a noun and a verb, because we haven't been taught this. This hasn't been taught in a public or private school system from my knowledge. But more importantly, we haven't seen people live this. And if they were living it, we didn't know because for whatever reason, it may never came up in conversation, or maybe we didn't ask questions. We just accustomed to seeing people go to a physical brick and mortar to provide service. But, and this is my but before we go into this last portion of are you looking for work? What happens? What happens if you get sick? What happens if I want to get with the guys and go to the YMCA and play basketball and somebody accidentally elbows me in the eye? Or I trip, I sprain my ankle. I don't want to go to work to the brick and mortar with a sprained ankle, nor do I want to do it with a black eye. But once I have an understanding that work is not only a verb, but it's a verb that transitions into a noun, and that noun is a product, it's a production, whether it be physical, whether it be material, or whether it be digital or immaterial. It either has physical presence or it doesn't, but it's still a production because it can serve you and it can serve the masses, and I don't have to be physically present to service and I don't have to be physically present for it to generate income. Let me give you a basic blueprint of how this can work. Please note that if you're accustomed to being instantly gratified, I'm not saying this is not for you, because I wouldn't say that, because I really don't know. And sometimes we make statements, and those statements are saturated in pomposity. For clarity, pomposity is pride. So maybe it's for you, maybe it's for you now, maybe it's not. But eventually, if we want to experience freedom financially and have any hopes of building generational wealth, which is a term that's tossed around a lot, generational wealth has to be, you can create generational wealth several ways, but it's a lifestyle at the core, of it. It's a lifestyle. If you are to really embrace this whole concept and this process, we have to get away from being familiar with being instantly gratified and embrace delayed gratification. I tell any of my students, whether they in our potential program or any students that I had the honor of teaching and learning from in a middle school or high school setting for an extended period of time, one of my anthems is fall in love with being bored. You fall in love with process. That's one of the major components to experience financial freedom, liberation in your life, and establishing generational wealth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Five steps, and these are sequential. 5 steps. These are general, but they're sequential or sequential. First and foremost, record your experience. You have to record your experience if we're going to produce work as a product. So we looking for work. And what I'm saying to you is that if you're looking for work, look inside first. There is a God-given gift, and there's a talent, and there's experience, and there's some level of expertise or a specialization in association with your discipline. Your gift is God-given. Your talent is something that you're good at. Both have to be refined. A talent has to be improved and refined, and a gift is just refined. It goes through process to get it ready to service the people that it has been created to serve. Record your experience. You can record your experience in a couple of ways. You can have a journal and write it down. You can use the memo function in your cell phone. That's what I do oftentimes. I'll record what I've learned. I'll record the bumps in the road, the potholes. I'll record achievements. I'll record acquisitions. I'll record how to. I'll record my observations, what this person said, what that experience was, what was the outcome, what we could have done better, what we did great. I record those things. That's me recording my experience. Again, you can journal. Also, we record our experience, which I don't think we realize, and neither are this series of statements to the people that don't necessarily like reports or like administrative work, because I didn't at one point either. But administrative work is another language that can elevate your career. What it does for me personally is that when I'm doing my administrative work, because every group that we meet with, every individual session that we do, it's mandatory that we document it. Because if it's not documented, it didn't happen. But in that documentation, it triggers a system within us to review what we did and what we could have done better, and it also rehearses the learning experience over and over and over again. And that's the practice that's necessary to be identified as a GOAT in your industry. To be identified as a GOAT, the greatest of all time in your industry, as far as the standard that you giving yourself, practice has to become a lifestyle. That's the first one. Secondly, determine if what you have is useful or of value to others. You have to determine what you have. Is it useful or is it of value to others? We need an example. Cage, is mentoring useful and valuable to others? Yes. Why? How do you know? Because I hear people complain. I hear people complain about kids. I hear people have legitimate problems with their daughters, their sons, their classes, their groups. People need help. So when I hear what people need help with, I may hear somebody complain. I may hear somebody vent. I may hear somebody who has a legitimate roadblock. When I say legitimate roadblock, I mean it's emotion there, but it's not led by emotion. It's led by the result of the child or children not living up to their full potential. So that lets me know, okay, you got something that's of value. Those experiences, the skill set, the certification, and the experience that you had that mirrors some of these young people's experiences that you'll work with, that's valuable. That's valuable. Last two, you got to format it. I'm sorry, three. Format it, create it, and put it in the system and keep going. There has to be a format. That format can look, in this aspect, this is a digital format that we are producing. Production. Work as a noun and not as a verb. You can create a tangible product. For our potential program, we have what's called a t-shirt, as you can see. That's a tangible product. You looking at this video, it's on Mr. Cage's Thought of the Day YouTube page. I I have been given countless numbers of thoughts. And this is a good segue. We have one thought that reads, and I quote, in order to be a GOAT at anything, you have to give your all to it. We chose that quote because everybody that we encounter has greatness inside of them. Some people desire to be the greatest of all time in their particular field, discipline, or industry, and some don't. However, that statement is universal to everybody. It's universal to everybody because everybody has a measure of greatness inside of them. And all of us really, whether we believe it or not, whether we're conscious of it or not, whether it's been revealed to us or not, we desire to be great. We desire to be great because with greatness comes influence. Not only with greatness comes, financial gain and elevation, but with greatness comes influence. And we desire, all of us, to leave some type of legacy on this earth before we transition. And I say that because that's us hearing and understanding the marketplace, the people, what will be of value to those individuals. Because most people know that we work with young people. That's a heart, that's heart work, as Dr. Ingram would say. That's heart work. That's an assignment that for me was given by God. People resonate with that and they want to support that alone because of the long tenure that we've been involved in this specific industry. They want to support just based on that. Then when they see the thought, wow, that strikes me, that resonates with me. I have greatness in me. I want to be great. I want to support that because that's a walking billboard and a reminder that you have the ability of greatness inside of you. You got to sacrifice everything in order for it to manifest. We format it. I gave you the example of a format. From there, we have to create a system. We create a system or we put it in a system. For example, YouTube has a system. It's a platform. Once a person takes it upon themselves to learn the integral details, the bells and whistles, the analytic portion, what does these numbers mean? What are the guidelines that I must follow to post a YouTube video? I say that because some people have profanity in their videos, and those people have to abide by certain guidelines that's set by the owners of the platform for their content to be welcome on that platform. That's a system. We have to put what we have in a system, and to me, that's one of the major misnomers, if I'm using the correct word, or where we just, let's just say simplistically, where we miss it and don't understand that we have to have a system. That system cannot remain in your head. It needs to be put on paper. It needs to be typed out. It needs to be assessed. It needs to be evaluated. It needs to be refined for improvement. We don't create systems just for ourselves. We're creating systems to liberate ourselves from being the go-to person providing the service or being the median between the consumer and the product. We're removing ourselves out of that, and then we creating a system where it either can run automatically or someone else can run it. The thought came to me a long time ago when I used to sub a lot, and the thought was, can somebody else teach your class? Can someone else teach your class? Because when you have a teacher out, he or she will leave what's called sub plans. Those sub plans can be read by one of their colleagues that they affiliate and associate with daily. In another sense or an expression, it can be an outside person coming to sub. No matter what the circumstance may be, gotta have sub plans left for the person because the person is not you. Therefore, they may or may not know what to do. But to be on the safe side, we need these sub plans. We guarantee that our students are going to be productive today because the person that's facilitating the experience knows what to do when that other person is not physically present. So that other person could be sick or whatever, but that individual is not there. And and this is what I'm expressing to you. In that scenario, what is the work? The work is the time and the effort and the diligence and the sacrifice that that teacher makes to produce the sub plan. The sub plan is the physical, tangible process for the day. So there was work, service, produced the work as far as the process from period 1, 7, 8, the whole logistical sequences that that person should follow to make sure that those students are being productive that day. So that was a strong example, very simplistic, but strong example of how work service transitions into work as a product. Lastly, keep going, keep going, keep going. It goes back to instant gratification versus delayed gratification. If there's any instant gratification in you, it has to be rooted out. It has to be plucked up. It has to make way and make room for delayed gratification because building takes time. Building takes time. I would rather have a blueprint than build the house. The blueprint Creating a blueprint takes time, but the building based on the blueprint takes time as well. And in that time duration, you're going to experience successes, you're going to experience failures. Remember, failure is an event and an experience. It is not your identity. It is not who you are. It's not who I am. It's not who we are. We have to be willing to go through the process. With habit stacking, we have the habit of producing and doing this daily, consistently, until it becomes a lifestyle. 2025 is it's a new year, chronologically speaking. We can't afford to go into a new year with the same mindset. But this is what I'll share with you as we go. If this is something that you want to, I believe that if everyone knew they had the option to disconnect their income from their service, I believe that everybody will exercise it. What I'm not saying is that they will take themselves totally out of the equation of providing service, because in service there's value, and in value there's fulfillment in helping people. I am reiterating and saying that if we realized and became consciously aware that this option was available, we would consider it. I think from my own experience and me having my consultant hat on, business consultant hat on, it's difficult because it's something that's not been taught in school. It hasn't been taught at home. We got to comprehend and then be able to really embrace the learning curve and continually go through the process. But I leave you with this: it's possible. It's possible. Are you looking for work? If you're looking for work, look within first before you look without or externally. It's Mr. K signing out. Try to give you as much detail as possible in this video. Once again, if you got any questions, you can always pose your question in the comment section. If you are looking for work, type work in the comment section. If you want to learn how to create work, type create in the comment section. Be great at what you do, but aim to be greater at who you are.